need some motherfucking views. 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 I need some motherfucking views. Views. I need some motherfucking views.
Don't we all just want to be internet famous, making videos in our basement, 6 figures ad revenue? It's so cool to be PewDiePie or Ethan Klein. But YouTube is a fickle bitch, there's no guarantees. Next month you might not make shit, no one knows what advertiser friendly now is. So just fuck it and make some cool shit. You can vlog your life, talk about your likes and dislikes. You can clickbait cause it's alright. Well, anything goes, as long as you know. There's no guarantees cause everybody wants to be the next big thing on your TV. Or you could blow up tomorrow and by next week you might be nobody.
I need some motherfucking views. 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 I need some motherfucking views. Views. I need some motherfucking views.
Attention is what we're all after. Sometimes we look desperate, but sometimes there's laughter. We live in a society where our children think making cool memes is their future profession. But look around, you'll see that the joke's on me. All these millionaire kids, not even 17. Cause you can be a fool and drop out of your school. All you need is those views. Or you can vlog your life, talk about your likes and dislikes. You can clickbait cause it's alright. Or anything goes, as long as you know. There's no guarantees cause everybody wants to be the next big thing on your TV. You could blow up tomorrow and by next week you might be nobody.
I need some motherfucking views. 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 I need some motherfucking views.
So give me the, cause I want the, so give me the, cause I want the, so give me the, give me the, give me the motherfucking views. So give me the, cause I want the, so give me the.
What's up, baby? Hello. I know we just met, do we have to take it slow though? I like a little bit of everything. I promise I won't do nothing that you want too embarrassed to admit. You need in your life, I would not think twice to make you feel nice, create paradise. If I spend the night, I'll break you off right. All I need is that green light. So invite me to your crib, hey. Well, I will bring my magic fingertips. Say maybe I could run them up and down the whole like the Abba team until you bust a nut. Or we could order Uber Eats and hit the bathroom, and after dinner get them cheeks clapping real good. I'm bringing nothing but the heat if you invite me to your crib. To your crib, yeah. I take your socks off slow. I ball one up and put it inside of my asshole. Cause I'm a sucker for that freak shit. I'm on some real G shit. You get a taste and you will never go back to the way things were when you were so damn insecure. You've always had a freak in you, and you just needed that green light. So invite me to your crib, hey. Well, I will bring my magic fingertips. Say maybe I could run them up and down the whole like the Abba team until you bust a nut. Or we could order Uber Eats and hit the bathroom, and after dinner get them cheeks clapping real good. I'm bringing nothing but the heat if you invite me to your crib. To your crib, yeah. I waited so long to find my other half. Then you let me snow fingertips. Say I ran those motherfuckers up and down the whole length of your body and made you bussa, 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 ooh. Then we ordered Uber Eats and hit the backwood. And after dinner I got them cheeks clapping real good. You know I'm only bringing heat when you invite me to your crib. To your crib, yeah. So invite me to your crib, hey. Well, I will bring my magic fingertips. Say maybe I could run them up and down the whole length of your body and make you bust a nut. Or we could order Uber Eats and hit the backwood. And after dinner get them cheeks clapping real good. I'm bringing nothing but the heat if you invite me to your crib. Your crib, yeah. You know I'm only bringing heat when you invite me to your crib. To your crib. I'll probably finish on your feet next time I'm over at your crib. At your crib. Yeah. Hey man, you ever felt unstoppable? That's the team, right? I said, welcome to the new world. Welcome to the new world. Hey yo, John got it. What if I told you I was super bad?
Oh, I guess it'd help if I unmuted my mic, wouldn't it? Jesus Christ. Anyway, welcome in today. I forgot to unmute my mic. Going to be discussing Abba Preach. And anyway, we're going to be discussing this video. They did I guess you'd call it a reply or whatever. Ethan Klein of H3H3 fame made a video critiquing them. And we're going to get into all that. Anyway, I'm also joined today by the a good friend of mine, Nerdy John. Welcome aboard, Nerdy.
Hello. It's my favorite topic. Ethan trying to be woke about black people issues.
Exactly right. There's nothing better when you have a middle-aged white person trying to tell a marginalized or minority to sit down and hush and let them talk for them because they don't know what they're talking about, right? And only their white knight can save them, right?
Yeah, and then weirdly enough, they accuse them of like supporting the other minority groups that person was attacking. You know, like for example, Ethan with Andrew Tate. For those of you who don't know, technically he's mixed, and then Abba Preach. Fresh and Fit. You know, those guys are black, and Ethan Klein is weirdly enough, he's accusing all of them of sticking together. Kind of weird for him to do that.
Well, and before this, it was Gideon. Don't forget Ethan.
Oh, true.
Went after Gideon because Gideon decided to travel to a town that's actually not too far from where I live here in Arkansas, and wanted to go visit the headquarters of the actual KKK and have a conversation with them and about, because quote unquote was the most racist town in America.
Yes, I remember he accused him of making propaganda for the KKK and said that Gideon was basically endorsing them. Because that makes sense, right? A black
100%.
person endorsing the KKK? Because,
100%.
Because they had the gall to talk to them.
Yeah. you know, and we're going to see that in this video. That is a record that Ethan likes to put on and play quite often, right? You know, but we'll get into that anyway. So let's let me bring up the video here on screen. So this video I've got brought up here. This is actually off Abba Preach's channel. Let me just do this.
Who, by the way, Abba and Preach are great content creators. I don't always agree with them 100% of the time, but their reasoning is sound. Like you get, like, even if you disagree with them, you get the reasoning behind it. They speak really well on social issues. Like they do what Ethan wants to be, ironically. Like they handle situations super well.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, I would say they are fair. They definitely come with, they do tend to be a little bit more, I'm more of a middle of the road type person. I do lean more conservative when it comes to certain issues, when, you know, on the political, if you start talking political or politics with me, I do tend to lean right on a few things, but for the most part, I'm pretty central, and I feel like Abba and Preach are too, but they tend to on probably, you know, lean a little left on a few things. So no, I don't agree with everything they say either, but I do respect their views and opinions on it because I don't feel like they're talking out their asses. You know,
Well, plus two, it's also they're they said, hey, if you disagree with us, explain why in the comments below, you know?
Yes.
And then, like, sometimes, you know, if you're another fellow content creator, they get on a live stream with you and they hear you out sometimes, you know?
Oh, 100%. And another thing too is when you're having an actual honest conversation, and I've watched a few of their like, you know, their live, whatever. I know they do things like on Instagram and things like that, and they do where they'll, you know, and they've done I guess videos or live streams or whatever, panels or whatever, where they're actually having a open, honest, and genuine conversation. I've never seen them be disrespectful, right? I've never seen them treat someone like a moron or just automatically discredit what they're saying because, oh, they're this or they're that or whatever, right? So, like I say, while I don't always agree with them, I do respect their views and opinions because I do feel like they treat and they come at a situation comedically because they're comedians. I mean, they
Oh, dude, they're so funny sometimes.
They are hilarious. There are definitely some people I honestly would not want to try to match wits with. I just don't think I'm quick enough. But anyway, so let's just listen to a little bit of this video, this intro. I do have the actual Ethan Klein video, and I want to bring up so there because there's some things that there, and then that I want to address as well that I think kind of shows, in my opinion, I think I've got some pretty big hammers I'm going to hit Ethan in the head with today.
Yeah. Oh, do you mind if I give a little bit more of a backstory on this?
Go ahead. You do whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as Ethan does on his show, he gets his team to like take screenshots of people's thumbnails.
Yep.
And Ethan, instead of watching the video, he just like bases the person's opinion based solely off their thumbnail, which, you know, like I would say half the time people just do for clickbait. Like it might not actually reflect their views on the situation, but you know, it's like it's meant to grab you in. That's why you have to watch the video to see what their points are, especially with people like Abba and Preach, you know, because like they might have like race baiting in the title, right? But then like they could have a point where it's like, no, that's not race baiting at all, you know, something like that. He based their entire point on like, they must really like the KKK if they want Andrew Tate on. And then Ethan has had prior history with them, because he was mad that they didn't believe the random girl that he had on his live stream talking about how one of the members of Fresh and Fit assaulted her.
Yeah.
Like, he was trying to run with this story with literally just her testimony. Now, if she wants to claim that, you know, it's up to her to bring receipts, maybe gather other women who have similar experiences with Fresh and Fit, because if Fresh and Fit has had several instances with like models off Instagram, so more than likely, if it was true, she probably wouldn't be the only one, right? But I don't think anyone else came out about the story. Abba and Preach has had prior history of Fresh and Fit, mostly negative, I might add, because Fresh and Fit for a while was just content striking out the wazoo, including many of Abba and Preach's videos.
Well, it's even more so than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Abba, right, went down and appeared on a Fresh and Fit show, right?
He did.
And anyway, everything I think was pretty cool on the stream or whatever for that, whatever. But like I said, they had some issues with Fresh and Fit and their whole shtick or their gimmick that they have, whatever. And then I think it was Fresh made some very derogative statements towards Preach's wife, and made some very I think I can say this. I mean, even though it was between two black men, some very, I would say, racist comments.
Because she's white, isn't she?
Well, no, what it was he was telling. See, Preach he is from Haiti, right? And so and so he's of Haitian descent, and Abba is from Ethiopia, so he's of Ethiopian descent, right? And so they, I believe it was Fresh that told him he needed to go back to his country, right? And the thing of it is, both of these guys live in Canada, right? They're Canadians, so you know, who is Fresh, who is an American citizen, to tell another citizen from a whole other country to leave and go back to their country, and actually challenged them to a fight. And Preach was going to be down in Florida for some other business dealings that he had down there, because he MCs events and things like that. He's
and if I remember correctly, Preach has had history of fighting like actual neo-Nazis.
Well, he may have. I don't know. I do know that he is a trained martial artist. And so he's like, you want to fight? Let's do, and Abba's like, no, whatever. And Preach is like, no. And so, and the thing, but the reason there was fallout over that or why it didn't happen was because Fresh and Fit wanted to like sell tickets and make this big spectacular thing. And it wasn't about that. It was because they had disrespected, Preach's wife and had disrespected him. No, he just wanted to set up somewhere where they could go in, have a boxing match between the two of them, and just settle their beef and to quash it, like men, not for some big spectacular, not for some sort of money grab or anything like that. That was not what he was about at all. And
if you don't know anything about Fresh and Fit, they're like Andrew Tate, like they're like these fake alpha dudes who like, this is how you need to treat women. You need to treat them like they're property, so that way they can respect you as men. Like that type of BS. The only time I've ever seen Abba and Preach defend them, by the way, is when Ethan was peddling false, or at least at this time, false allegations against Fresh and Fit with no evidence whatsoever. And Ethan got mad about that, because how dare a black man dare question his authority, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, when he had that young lady on the podcast, and she was making these allegations and stuff. And I don't know if you ever actually listened to that whole interview with her on Ethan's podcast, but her story started kind of changing mid-story as she's telling it. I don't know if it was just nerves. I don't know. but some of the stuff that she said, and the thing was, is she never ever said that she was the recipient of any type of inappropriateness. She just said that
She said she was uncomfortable.
she was
at a certain
uncomfortable.
point.
But Ethan said, "Well, that sounds like sexual assault to me." So
Yeah, he was peddling it. He was peddling
yeah, he
it.
was peddling it big time. But anyway, so that's kind of a little bit of background and history on this. So yeah, Ethan in this and Abba Preach have some background. And we'll kind of get a little bit more of this because he kind of goes after him a little bit. So let's just kind of listen to a little bit of the video right now.
Okay, today's topic.
Abba and Preach, these guys are idiots. Andrew Tate is banned. Censorship will backfire. No, it won't. Oh my God, dude. Again, more men telling women. Now, did anyone actually watch this Abba and Preach?
Says the man, by the way.
More men telling women. So
I said it on my own stream. So Ethan, what you should really do is you should shut up. You should not be on this live stream right now. And in fact, it should be only Gila and the female members of your staff. If you really, because like remember, men shut up, get in line. So
Exactly.
like, why are you speaking on a woman's behalf? Isn't a woman strong enough, more independent enough to speak on her own? Shouldn't you be the one taking care of the kids while Gila becomes a strong, independent woman that she is? Come on now.
Exactly. Just along the same note, like we talked about just a little bit ago about how him telling Gideon that he wasn't smart enough to address the whole issue with racism in the KKK, or Ethan's good buddy Hassan telling a gay man. Or I'm sorry, not a gay man, but a transgender individual that, oh, you're just a transgender person. You don't know. Shut up. So a person that lives that experience of being a transgender person has no opinion, has no valid views because they might differ from. It's just I mean, it'd be like this, Nerdy. Now you're a person that is part of the LGBTQ community. And it would be like me, a straight old man coming to you and telling you, hey, listen, little boy, you don't know either. Just shut up. Let me fight for you. Who the hell am I?
Yeah. Like imagine, because like there's always outliers in a community, right? There are women, for example, who don't believe in third wave feminism.
Sure.
There are black people who disagree with Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
There are gay individuals who don't believe in the toxic aspects of the LGBT community. So ironically, it's kind of more racist, like whatever label you want to put it, right? It's more derogatory to view everyone as a hive mind, right? So it's like like I could be speaking out of my ass here, so bear with me.
No, I don't think so. I think it's more. It's like this. To me, it's very condescending. It is very belittling to sit there and try to say, "I know what's best for you," a person in that situation, right?
So, like for example, like BLM, they've always said you need to fight white supremacists, right? And like Ethan, he has to go along with that, right? Because he wants to be seen as woke and progressive, right? But then there's Gideon, a black person, who instead of trying to fight or kill the KKK members, he's interviewing them for the purpose of making fun of them on the internet, and like he can't wrap his head around that. So it's like, Gideon making propaganda for the KKK. Yeah. What? Why are you throwing up the Hail Hitler sign? And then like Gideon literally had to explain to him, well, you see, and you see the joke there, Ethan, is that I'm a black guy doing that. Mm-hmm. That's the humor. Yeah.
So anyway, let's listen to more of these awesome, just super big brain takes of Ethan here.
Mm-hmm. So you call us fucking idiots for a video you didn't even watch?
Exactly.
Yeah, he didn't even watch the video, guys. That we didn't bring that up, and purposely so. Yeah, Ethan didn't even watch the damn video, and he admits to that later on and I think Alba and them actually have that segment in there. But yeah, he did. This jackass didn't even watch the video.
Yeah, like I said, he just like he looks at the thumbnail and then he bases his entire he based the person's entire opinion just off the thumbnail.
Well, it's not even that, right? He based it off of a previous because how do I put this? He went into this with a bias because he felt like and he states this as such is because Abba Preach dismantled his interview with that girl and showed it to be just ludicrousy and how she should not have been allowed to just come on and make these statements and stuff. And not only that, but since she wasn't just coming right out and making these serious allegations, H3 had to make them for her, right? Because once again, here's a guy who I know what's best for you, right? Just take a back seat, right? Sit down back there. Let me drive this bus because you're too dumb and you don't know the perils. And so just, sit back and shut up. And that's Ethan. That's people like Hassan and all of these people who are out here trying to white knight to try to,
oh my God, I think I showed you this the other day. This doesn't really relate to the topic necessarily, but it goes along with the whole aspect of people of non-colored individuals trying to white knight for colored individuals.
Yeah.
I think I showed you, I showed Banana. It was like this lady who was saying, oh yeah, all these N-words who voted for Trump, they're coming for you next. And she started calling them the shortened word for raccoon. But yeah, it's like, I mean, granted, like Ethan and Hassan haven't done that to an extent. They've danced around it. I think they definitely indirectly have called Gideon an Uncle Tom.
Well, I mean, they've heavily implied or came right up to that line. They didn't cross it, but I see what you're saying.
They were dancing around.
Disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, that's, again, like I said, just it's kind of like here. I'm big brained. You're little brain. Sit down and let me take care of the situation for you.
And you know what's funny is later on in that H3 stream, he goes, "Oh yeah, I really liked Abba Preach. They were really funny guys. I thought they were really insightful. And then they disagreed with me on the fresh and fit stuff.
Yeah,
fresh and fit defenders.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get on into some more of this here.
This is so on par for Ethan and his stupid ass friends.
Abba Preach, by the way, I never really talked about them, but they made a video defending fucking fresh and fit.
Yeah, they have a lot of bad takes.
Yeah,
it sucks.
So that's the whole thing right there. They defeated Fresh and Fit, and then I think it was named Dan says, "Oh yeah, they have a lot of bad takes." The Star Killer here says, they were. I looked at some of their stuff, and I really they were real funny, but then when you start deep diving,
yeah, which is really vague. Why? Because they've Steven Crowder, for example. I know he's a controversial figure. Abba and Preach have defended his right to tell jokes and for his freedom of speech.
Sure.
While heavily disagreeing with a lot of what he does. In fact, they've even gotten physically angry in a couple of videos with how, because a lot of their stuff is first gut reaction stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they've gotten very angry with the people they've talked to or talked about. But they still hey, they still have the right to say what they want, but in turn, it's our right to say that's dumb. We'll make fun of it, and we'll bring points against you. That's always been their stances, pretty much.
Oh yeah,
and Ethan can't wrap that around his finger because he's he's trying to go along with the narrative of some deplatforming's good, deplatforming's good.
Yeah,
which I mean, unless you're talking about a pedophile, that's a pretty bad take to have.
Well, it's 100% bad take to have. And one of the things that they showed was I believe it was a quote. Let me back it up back here. See if I can pull it back up here. right here.
So you call this
women now?
Okay. So this is Mudahar, and this is one of the things that they clipped to show. Says, if you actually believe bands do something, it only amplifies his shitty message onto more users through alternative platforms. Shitty ideals should be countered with sound reasoning in the public eye. These people should be mocked and not treated as digital martyrs. And here's
Exactly.
the thing: Mudahar is 1,000% on point. Okay. The other night when Dave was talking about the whole banning of Tate across all these platforms and stuff, right? I got on there and made a statement that maybe some people, did not agree with or whatever, but I still stand behind that statement. Some of these people who were out there clapping and cheering and happy that Tate was banned off these platforms, right? But yet these were the same people who were whining and crying because somebody had filed a false DMCA against them, and they were under threat of losing their channel. Their view and opinion, their voice about a particular subject had been quashed, had been silenced because their video had been taken down. And you were raising Cain because of one little video, but you're tickled to death that a person has been completely, totally removed from all platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, for me, it's not about whether or not if the person has a bad take or a good take or has a stance or what, because in what Ethan and those people that are out there cheering this as a great thing, one of the things that I don't think they quite understand is this. Is when you start censoring speech, when you start saying this is not okay, that is a bad first step to take. And the reason why it's a bad first step to take is because when you start down that road, we start off with people like Tate, and he wants, and Ethan does this repeatedly throughout his video. He lumps in people like the KKK. And and ISIS and people like that, right?
And it's like, whoa, hold up. Who brought up ISIS? Like he's the first one to bring up ISIS. The
Sure.
ones who literally, like fun fact, everyone. The reason why the original Adpocalypse started was because ISIS had a YouTube channel where they uploaded beheadings.
Yeah.
And then ads accidentally played on there. And it didn't matter that YouTube eliminated the channel, the Adpocalypse still happened. So like him comparing like Andrew Tate, by the way, horrible human being.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think he
without
should
doubt.
be made fun. I think he should be made fun of for all of his terrible, terrible opinions to hell and back.
Mm-hmm. We agree on that 100%.
But to my knowledge,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, Riverter, I don't believe anyone's bombing buildings or assaulting women or killing women in the name of Andrew Tate.
No. The problem is this, okay, is when you take somebody like Tate and you silence him, and all of a sudden, because here's the thing about it, let's just be very frank on this. He has supporters. He has people that are subscribed to his channels, to his different social media platforms. They buy into the garbage that the guy spews. Okay.
Oh, they unironically believe almost everything he says.
Yes. And the problem with that is now, because you've silenced him, he has become a martyr to them. He has become a hero, even more so. And so now you have just taken these young people or whoever, I say young people, but you take his followers. Now, not all of them, some of them will go on, whatever, but then you'll have a certain percentage, and you've radicalized them. Okay. Mm-hmm. You've now incentivized them to become an actual Andrew Tate.
Yeah, you know what people say about like Joe Rogan's fan base? That's That's actually Andrew Tate's fan base. The ones who
Yeah.
hate women, the ones who hate all authority, no matter how logical or illogical the reasoning is.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you know,
like,
here's the thing. They start with someone like this, right? Okay. Then the next thing you know, all of a sudden they decide, we don't like this voice. Pick one. I don't care. Pick one. Pick any voice you like. We don't want people to be able to make these kind of statements or make these kind of jokes or whatever, right? You could pick anything you want. We don't like people who have horses. I don't care. Pick anything. I don't care. I know that sounds like really crazy, right? And it is, but just stay with me here on my point, or my talking point here, is when you take the very first step to go out and say this person and to hush them, right? Then the next time it's not so hard because we've already done it once before, right? So we've already taken that big step. So now it's just easier.
it's like, I mean, he's basically like the last guy, right? I mean, like,
Yeah,
sure. Pretty much, or just get rid of him, right?
And the problem is, and you would have thought, okay, somebody like Ethan, right, would know this and would learn this. Why? Because this is the guy, right, who cultivated a following, who cultivated a viewership, right, that is very progressive in ideologies. And then all of a sudden one day he decides to start making fun of James Charles, right, and starts making some derogatory comments about him and his
having
sexual,
to wear diapers.
well, sexual habits, right? And then he has a caller call into the show, a by his own, I guess, definition, a supporter of Ethan, and starts saying, hey, you really shouldn't be talking about like this because, this is very derogatory towards gay men and, whatever. And so Ethan, not liking to be told you're wrong about something, right? Because that's what all really boiled down to, was he didn't like someone coming and slapping him on his little hand, telling him, that's not the thing to say or do. He starts ridiculing that guy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then like their response to that throughout that stream and the next stream was, "Shut up, we're allies, okay? We know what we're talking about."
Yes, and what wound up happening? His fan base turned on him and canceled and got all of his sponsorships canceled. They can't, all of his sponsors. So, and so he then switched to where his streams are, he may have done this a bit before, members only, right? So the only ones that can talk and chat now is you have to be subscribed, so that that ensures that he's getting money from his streams that way, right?
And only his most loyal fans do the memberships thing.
So you would have thought he would have learned from something, right? That when you start, but he doesn't learn. He just continues on this downward spiral. Now, there was a
this is a man. Yeah, this is a man repeatedly who has said the N word, the F slur, to refer to different people. It sometimes uses both words at the same time. So like,
where is it at here? Where is it at here? Well, let me just cut on over here to this one here, and I want to think it's. I thought I had it timestamped, but I don't think I do.
By the way, Ethan only has one black employee.
Well, I'm not going to go there. Whatever. I'm not into this. I think you should hire. I think you should hire the best person for the job. I don't think their skin color or their gender or their sexual orientation should come into play. The best person for the job.
If he was a true ally, he would hire nothing but transsexual, independent black women.
Well,
yeah. If he was a true ally.
So let's see if I can find this section here.
The brave act,
here.
the defiant act.
No.
CoffeeZilla, who
he talks about CoffeeZilla.
A bad take from him.
Well,
he's really good.
and if you listen, And if you listen to if you listen to Abba Preach, their take and Coffee's take was not really too far apart. It was pretty much spot on. So,
but you see, CoffeeZilla has kissed up to Ethan more than Abba and Preach have. Well, by that I'm not saying that like CoffeeZilla is like he's not actually licking Ethan's boot. He's just used Ethan as a source when he was doing the Aiden Ross cryptocurrency investigation because Aiden Ross talked to Ethan. Mm-hmm. So like he didn't necessarily have anything negative to say to Ethan there. So in Ethan's mind, that's like full support of him. So he can't be that bad.
Yeah. Right? But I was wanting to get into something.
Needs to be censored.
Oh, here we go. This is it right here.
It's not always bad, right? Some things need to be censored. Oh, just to go back, like this idea that all censorship is bad. It's not. Like censorship is not always bad, right? Some things need to be censored. And again, everyone agrees with that. Okay?
No, we don't.
Everybody does.
No.
It's just a matter of where you draw the line.
No.
CoffeeZilla said, I dislike Tate.
Okay. So Ethan says that there should be censorship, right? That everybody agrees with censorship. That everybody is on board with that, right? Well, let's go back a few years. This is from 2017, okay? This was actually the number 4, or this is the 4th podcast that they ever had on the H3H3 podcast. And this
when
is
it was still pre-recorded.
Yes, and this is where this is not the full version because they actually edited this. Because this is the one where he goes off on his little tangent saying the N-word and F-word, that little tism he had about.
Oh yeah, where he says like it rolls off the tongue.
It just rolls off the tongue, right? So it's But this is that actual podcast, but they edited all that out, right? So
right, you can still find the clips online.
You can still find the clips, but this is early on. This is early on in the podcast. I want you to listen to this conversation between iDubbbz. Now this is 2017 iDubbbz and 2017 Ethan. And
so this is iDubbbz before he got cucked.
This is iDubbbz before he got cucked.
This is pre-cucked iDubbbz.
This is before Ethan and iDubbbz got spayed or neutered, right? So
by their wives.
By their wives. So let's listen to what this conversation is here.
What are you gay?
Nothing gay.
What
no.
are you gay, Hila?
No.
So is your style is very anti-PC. Is that by intention or are you just expressing yourself?
It is by intention. I really don't like being limited. I'm a big fan of freedom of speech.
First Amendment is number 1.
Yeah, it's number 1, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Now to clarify, both of them have since changed this opinion to where it's like we just saw the clip of Ethan, but iDubbbz was a guest on Hassan's stream, and he said, "Well, you know what? Yeah, I think stuff needs to be censored."
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, and we're talking. That's just 2017, right? So that's just 5 years ago. So in 5 years, we went from. I don't like to be censored. I'm a real big supporter of the First Amendment, free speech, and Ethan's right there with him. Yeah, for first, it's right in there after the second. If you listen, I'm not going to go into, but they even talked about the Second Amendment too, right? And
hey, correct me if I'm wrong over there, but like, what changed in like the past 5 years? Could it be that like instead of woke culture being like this weird like little niche on the internet that was easy to make fun of, it became like this really big thing to where creators, whether online or Hollywood, would end up losing career opportunities or their platforms for making some off-colored or edgy jokes, right?
Well, I don't. How do I put it? I don't think it's necessarily that. What I actually think it is, quite honestly, is I think it was one of these deals where, because we had some people kind of get into the that became prominent for whatever reason. It became politically correct and became, and this was the majority, was this very progressive ideology. I think maybe it was stemmed a little bit from a lot of these political speech or these political people that you have like on Twitch that make some really just brain dead analogies like Hassan and Vosh and even initially Destiny. Destiny was pretty brain dead too about things, because I don't think any of these people, H3 doesn't. They don't understand, or they don't have a really good grasp of how the world really works, or how it really is for the vast majority of Americans across this nation. Most Americans are just your average everyday get up, put your shoes on, go to work, come home.
They don't even care about politics that much either.
Well, the only time they care about politics is when they go to the gas pump and all of a sudden, they're the money that it's cost them to go to work now has, increased by half again, or even double in some cases. Or they go to their grocery stores and their grocery bills have not maybe double, but again half again as big. Or there's nothing on the shelves.
What I'm saying is, like the gas price thing has been like a thing for like the past 2 years or so. What I'm mainly saying is, and even then, it's like, why does gas have to be so much, right?
Sure.
But they're not delve into like politics 24/7.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't. Political
Twitch.
Yes, exactly. They don't get into all the little nuances that these political, what they call them, panels and people like Hassan and those guys. They don't get into all that. They don't care. All they care about is do I have enough money to keep a roof over my family's head? Do I have enough food to put in their bellies? Yeah. And that's it. They're not necessarily, it's not that they don't want people to have a fair shake. It's not that they don't want people to be treated fairly and decent. That's not it at all. Right. But it's not something that they're not going to go out here and they're not going to march in parades, or they're not going to march in some sort of protest, right? That's not what they do. And generally speaking, what your average American does is when they see that it costs them more to live than what it did previously, they're going to blame whoever is in office. It doesn't matter.
Also,
yeah,
with these political streamers, these are guys who literally live in like $1 million mansions. These are guys who more than likely get high grade drugs. In Hassan's case, literally sleep with porn stars.
Yep.
Ethan Klein, who's in a gated community, self-admitted, by the way.
Yep.
Like these are people. It's like at this point, it's like when a Hollywood person tells you that, oh yeah, I'm very woke, I'm very progressive. I think I think we really should consider the equal pay method, equal distribution, because they know that, like, one, it's never actually going to happen and affect them, right? No. And two, if Hassan, like, if we've seen Hassan go off the handle on like social stuff, like he's going after black people, he's going after trans people, etc. If imagine if like he's in the state of California, right? Imagine if, like, let's just say hypothetically, I know like realistically it would never happen. Let's say hypothetically, California, for whatever reason, tries an experimental communist, a communist like state, right?
Yeah.
And legit, like all the wealth is redistributed. Mm-hmm. Hassan's gonna be the first one to yell and say, why don't I have my Lamborghinis? Why don't I have my mansion anymore?
Yeah. Oh,
because guess what? When the communists take over, we've seen this in the Soviet Union. Who are the first affected by it? It's the landowners. It's the wealthy people, and that's you, Hassan. You're not gonna be like, as much as you would like to think that you would be like the ringleader Bosch does this too. Like they think that they're going to be the ringleaders. No, you're going to be the first ones to get your stuff taken away from you.
Oh, 100%. So, you know, I just thought that it would be kind of interesting to take a look at this. I've got like I said, I linked in the chat earlier to Abba and Preach's channel. Go check it out. If you haven't watched any of their content, I highly recommend it. Also, if you're not, check out if you haven't checked out Nerdy John and his content. He's thoroughly entertaining. He's also available for contractual. Is that no? He'll make
commissions for thumbnails.
There you go. He makes some damn good thumbnails. He's a really good thumbnail artist. Check him out. But I don't want to go too much longer because we're coming up on the golden hour here in about 10 minutes. Our buddy, Dead on Dave, and I'm on a right there. So I just linked it there in the stream. Dead on Dave is going to be going live, and it is Willie Wednesday. And if you've never watched a Willie Wednesday stream live, do yourself a huge favor. Jump on over there and check out a Willie Wednesday. They are thoroughly entertaining. Nerdy is the, I guess the producer, the monkey behind the glass. I mean, you mash the buttons and shit, right? And you get yelled at a lot and abused. You take a lot of abuse over there on those streams, dude. Straight up, they abuse you.
One day I'll tell my story.
You have to write a book. You know what it is? Here's what you do. You just need to set up. And you need to go on Ethan's podcast, right? And you need to tell him where the bad man touched you. Right?
Exactly. I'll help make a documentary. It's gonna be called "Surviving Dead on Dave."
Surviving Dead on Dave. Oh shit.
Yeah, and then we'll make a sequel. We'll make a sequel show called "Surviving Tommy C."
Listen, you got nukes, son. There is no surviving a nuke. I mean, unless you're just a little cockroach. So anyway. Listen, I appreciate all you guys tuning in today. Hopefully you are entertained. Hopefully you saw something. Maybe you saw things from a little bit, different eyes because, like I said, Ethan and iDubbbz and those guys were not always this way. They were not always this progressive ideology mindset, or at least they pretended not to be, right? They were very pro first, freedom of speech. And as am I. I believe a person should be able to say whatever the hell it is they want to say, short of inciting a riot, short of hollering fire in a crowded movie theater, that kind of shit, right? Anything that would cause harm to somebody, I don't support that, right? But if somebody wants to get on and say some of the most vilest shit, and they want to say racial slurs, and they want to say derogatory, things against the LGBT community, whatever. I don't care, right? If they want to get on here and make fun of Christians, if they want to get on and make fun of Muslims, if they want to get on here and make whatever, I don't care. Doesn't mean I'm going to watch it. Muslims, I'm not going to watch them. I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to engage them. I might make fun of them. I might ridicule them, which is what they should be. We have a lot of people on this platform of YouTube that we consider law cows, right? That we make fun of, we've done it to people like Quantum TV. We've done it to people like Genevieve Simmons. We've done it to people like DSP or Wings of Redemption. There's just a whole long laundry list of people out there that are law cows that should be made fun of. Flamenco. There's just a bunch of people, right? These people like Andrew Tate, anyone else like that, of those ilk that are just brain dead and have some of the most just stupidest things fresh and fit, right? They should be made fun of. Their thoughts and opinions, their views should be mocked and ridiculed, right? That's why we do these videos on like H3, right? Or Ethan, because he has become a law cow. Sadly, iDubbbz has become a law cow. That's why people mock these people, make fun of them, ridicule them, and that's what you should do, right? Make fun of them. What we don't do is we don't ban them. We don't take away their voice. We want them to make stuff. We want them to put these idiotic statements, these idiotic stances out there. Why? Because then we can laugh at them and we can make money at their expense. And that's what it's all about, right?
Right. And then like people who might have like leaned towards whatever like the person is thinking, like for example, Andrew Tate, right?
Sure.
If some like when you're like 13, 14, 15, not being made fun of is very important to you. And so like when you see like this one dude getting clowned on over and over again, guess what? You tend not to want to be him.
Oh, 100%. So,
but like as soon as you ban someone, you kind of indirectly make them this like messiah like figure, right?
100%.
Like, oh my god, because like it can be twisted as he was telling the truth all along. They banned him for it. See, they didn't want the truth getting out there.
Exactly. I mean, look what happened with oh God, what was his name? Got banned off of YouTube, and now he's Alex Jones, right?
That's immediately what his fans thought was. Oh my God, he's telling the truth. They're trying to ban him.
Exactly.
The globalists are trying to take over.
You know what it is? They're actually they were really trying to make the frogs gay. They were really trying to turn the frogs gay.
They didn't want that out.
They didn't want that out, exactly. So anyway, listen, Nerdy, I appreciate you coming on today. Make sure, like I said, I put the link in the chat there. Go check out Dave. He's going to be going live here probably about 4 to 5 minutes. Nerdy will be there. Willie Mack will be there. I think Matt Petty's even going to be there tonight. And who knows who else is going to show up, right? It's always just
it's going to be a good old panel.
It's just, yes, Dave's shows are entertaining as hell. And we're trying to get him to a full 6 flamencos, right? If you don't know what that 6 flamencos are, it's a unit of measurement. So one flamenco was 25 years, right?
No, 50 years.
50 years. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize to flamenco. So one unit of one flamenco is 50 years, right? So we have we've actually hit 5 flamencos, right?
We have hit five flamencos before.
Yes, we have hit 5 flamencos over there on the Dead on Dave streams, but I really, really think we can hit 6 flamencos. And I want that to be a thing. I want Dave to hit those 6 flamencos. And tonight, maybe that'll be the night. So make sure and tune in. Check out Nerdy John. Matter of fact, let me just grab Nerdy's channel here.
All right. With that being said, I'm going to exit. I'm going to get ready for Dave's show. Hope to see you all there.
Thank you so much for popping in and joining me today. I greatly appreciate it, buddy.
Of course, man.
And there we go. There's Nerdy John's channel. If you haven't, check him out as well. Like I say, he's a really entertaining young man. He's very talented. If you're needing thumbnails and stuff done, holler him up. I think he charges like $20 a thumbnail, something like that. It's not something that's just outrageous, and like I say, he does a good job. And with that, guys, I'm gonna wind it up so I can go over there and be part of the hopefully 6 flamencos tonight. I appreciate you, love your faces, take care of yourself. Remember to keep your powder dry and look for me in the funny papers.